Fence.
Energy.
Yeah.
I like the tag sale sign out of front.
And that's the bar, more
Oh shit. There's a bar. Yeah.
You're so lucky. I want to travel all over.
Where? On the corner. I think that's what he was talking about.
Right.
I've never met so many people in my life with cancer until I moved here. Maybe it's a New York thing. Never had a problem with my period until I moved here either. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They do their fireworks several times a year, and then they build their baseball fields for the boys to play on. Of course they do these things. My husband, we need to get the fuck out of here. I keep telling my husband we need to get the fuck out of here.
Half my town works there. 1 in 4 houses are powered there. It's scary, I don't think about them. I don't care if it's theirs. There is something there. Something in the water, something in the air. I'm the first one to go if it blows up.
Well, I'm all the way up in Brewster, and if it blows up, everything will be green and I'll have cancer.
I've never seen any fireworks.
Alright, and action.
Sometimes the gates are wide open. You know the limestone quarry? The Verplank quarry? Energy owns it. Kids go swimming in it. And there's always a hole in the fence. Someone died 2 years ago. A 17-year-old boy. He fell and hit his head the wrong way and died. His parents tried to sue for negligence, but he wasn't under 14, so...
Alright.
10 years later, we're still cleaning up after 9/11. I'm proud to be an American, but we are not as resilient as Japan.
At the Buchanan Verplank Elementary School, the parents sign off papers to have them give iodine pills to the kids. I want a nice world for my son to grow up in.
I never once told an employee you can't talk to the press. I love it at Indian Point. It's like river traffic. Non-rush hour types, you know, a quiet nuclear plant. People are going to make mistakes and equipment is going to fail. It's reality. I don't care how perfect you are. I'm not a technical person. The thing is, there's an element of judgment. There might be a mistake, but the mistake is a delayed time replacing a piece of equipment, and the consequence for that is close down and fix it. Not the plant's gonna blow up and we're all gonna die. I like to fancy the plant as a learning institution. We've got 1,100 workers and about 200 engineers, and all nuclear plants have to have redundancies. All plants are different, and the NRC may be overly prescriptive. I think that they don't believe that we'd spend $1.5 billion in cooling towers and that we'd rather shut the plant down. If you call them, tell them that, because guess what? I wouldn't believe everything I said either. Check it. Check everything. We spend $75 million paying taxes and revenue to New York State, and $25 million in local taxes to local school districts, and $130 million in salaries.
You have to know where people are coming from. And, you know, it can be sometimes super simplistic. My background, I represented big corporations for 20 years. You want to know what dirty laundry is? I was in the middle sorting it. And, you know, as a litigator for 10 years in the Pentagon for human fraud cases, Wall Street, RICO, I like to call myself an unlikely nuclear activist. I was basically one of those people, you know, green tree hugger people, but, you know, like, there's no way all the government and all those smart scientists could be putting all these people at risk No way!
The NEI, I don't know if you guys have run into the NEI yet. They are the most powerful lobbyists in Washington. They have more money than any other lobby, and they go to the NRC meetings, and the NRC basically does what they tell them to do.
Now, what would give nuclear power, which is a very small industry, so much political power? Weapons!
Weapons. That's it. That's the entire reason we have nuclear in this country. It's for our weapons program. All of it's a weapons program. That's it. Period. All the spent fuel in the country right now can be weaponized. Indian Point right now has 18,000 tons of spent fuel sitting there right now. Now, multiply that by 103, and of course it's an older plant, so there's more. But all of it is weaponizable. It hasn't been weaponized yet.
And more significantly, the industry that breeds the knowledge and the equipment, it's the same industry. And keep in mind that it came from the absolute best intentions. It really did.
Till this day, there is no solution for the waste. There's no way to basically transmute the waste so it becomes benign again. The waste will stay radioactive for 2,400 years. The plutonium, which is the basic essence of this.
Something could always happen, but I can't let that lead my life. There are 3 types of people in this world: paranoid, naive, and cautious. I can't even believe what I see on TV. I prepare for the best and expect the worst. There's always going to be a problem. My grandmother lived in a bad part of New York all her life, never had any problems. Then she moved to South Carolina because of the low crime rate, mugged by a transvestite. Every town's got its problems.
My recollection is you're probably getting more than that if you're a flight attendant. I think 100 millirems is less than what you get for a whole year of radiation. In general, we're able to build much, much safer plants now than we were able to build 40 years ago. I think right now we're stuck in a worst of all possible situations because you have a couple of reasonable choices. You can take places like Indian Point and say, let's shut them down. We're not going to renew them. Let's shut them down. Or you can say, Indian Point has come to the end of its originally intended life anyway. Let's shut it down and build a new, safer plant. Instead, we're stuck between these 2 visions of where we're going to go with our energy future. Instead, we keep extending the licenses of these nuclear plants, which get less safe and develop wear and tear as time goes on. In the case of a major release, they're not giving medication now. I'm sort of guessing, but I would be quite sure. Suppose there is a Fukushima-type disaster. One of the things that gets released is radioactive iodine. Radioactive iodine will get concentrated in the thyroid, particularly in little kids, and has the potential to cause thyroid cancer. The kind of way you deal with this is, in a crisis, that you give people that have been exposed iodine pills. And that iodine goes all in their thyroid and prevents the radioactive iodine from going in there. They just want the permission to give it to them in a case of an emergency. I'm almost certain. I'd be flabbergasted if they're being given anything now because they're next to the plant. That would be a scandal and it should be stopped.